Despite being carefree and running into some money troubles in his younger years, Will Smith has built up his career to become one of the most successful names in Hollywood.
After you've fallen off and you had money and been broke and had a hit record and then made records that people don't want to hear, you just be so happy when people want to hear your stuff. It's just you're thanking God every day and you kind of appreciate it more. And I was younger then, I'm a man now. I'm a man. As you can tell by my shirt, this is only a real man could wear this shirt.
Will Smith was struggling financially in 1990 when the NBC television network signed him to a contract and built a sitcom around him titled The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The show launched Smith into a successful acting career as it was extremely popular with audiences.
Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel-Air.
The series starred Smith as a fictional version of himself, a street-smart teenager from West Philadelphia who is sent to move in with his wealthy aunt and uncle in their Bel-Air mansion. It first aired September 10, 1990. The series ran for 6 seasons, completing 148 episodes. It often approached controversial topics with a comedic spin, but still managed to bring appropriate attention to them. The theme song to the show, written and performed by Smith under his stage name, The Fresh Prince, has become one of the most memorable raps to date, and Smith explains that he knows it is what he will always be most famous for.
So when it came time for the different names of the characters in The Fresh Prince to be decided, Alfonso Ribeiro said to Will, he said, you should name your character Will Smith because people are going to be shouting it at you when they see you in the street or whatever. And of course, Alfonso already had that experience from being a child actor and growing up in front of the camera. And Will thought about it and he's like, okay. So he went with his actual name for the character he plays in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And it's interesting because there's anecdotes about him and Alfonso later on will be walking down the street and people would be like, Will, Carlton. So they would be screaming out the character names. But I think another thing that really helped with is it really kind of cemented that idea of people. They were growing up watching Will Smith grow up. But it also, in that atmosphere and that framework, he was safe, he was relatable, he seemed like someone they could know, or they seemed like he could be them. So that also kind of solidified that Will Smith brand at a fairly early time in his acting career. It also blew up him as an artist as well, because more people were seeing him. He was coming into their house every single week, and it set him on the trajectory to do acting.
The show did a great job of addressing controversial issues, including great comedy, but also playing to emotional storylines. One of the most remembered episodes, Papa's Got a Brand New Excuse, shows Will's dad leaving his life once again after appearing for a brief period of time.
Any doubt that Will Smith had the chops to be a serious actor were completely put to rest in a specific episode on The Fresh Prince, where the Fresh Prince's father comes back into his life and then leaves again. And Will Smith goes completely off the script of what had been written for him to perform in that scene and does an improv where he's crying, he's breaking down, and it just was so moving that everybody on the set was absolutely just shocked, but like in a good way, like, oh my goodness, this is incredible.
Right? I learned how to drive, I learned how to shave, I learned how to fight without him. I had 14 great birthdays without him. He never even sent me a damn card. Down with him! I ain't need him then and I don't need him now.
Will.
Nah, you know what, Uncle Phil? I'm gonna get through college without him. I'm gonna get a great job without him. I'm gonna marry me a beautiful honey, and I'm having me a whole bunch of kids. I'm gonna be a better father than he ever was. And I sure as hell don't need him for that, because ain't a damn thing he could ever teach me about how to love my kids. How come he don't want me, man?
That was a real defining moment in his acting career. It showed he could do more than just read pages. He could actually evoke those things, those human emotions, in a very, very natural and believable way.
The episode was so emotional, leaving the live audience in tears. Many people believed Smith's monologue was based on his own life experiences, but he clarified that he had a happy childhood and his own father was very present in his life. In 1992, Will Smith married Cherise Zampino, and they welcomed a son, Willard Carroll Smith III, known as Trey, on November 11th, 1992.
This is a real bad boy.
Oh, he wants to. Thank you.
Hold on, Trey. Tell him the song, Bad Boys.
Bad boys, got to do what you got to do. We'll come for you.
You got a picture. You want to say it?
Bad boys, got to do what you got to do. We'll come for you. He's a rapping junior here.
Following on from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Smith appeared in his first major roles in 6 Degrees of Separation in 1993 and Bad Boys in 1995.
In the 90s, there was kind of a rift between television and movies. So it was seen as a big thing when an artist would jump from music to TV or music to the movies. And it was seen as another big jump if people were to go from TV to movies. Like movies was like the ultimate thing that you could do.
I enjoy doing television. I'll do television, as long as people enjoy seeing it. I'm going to make my progression slowly into films. Television is a great job.
Bad Boys was a worldwide success, grossing over $141 million at the box office. However, the critical reception was mixed.
Let's try to do this right. No gunshots, no dead bodies. Well, if I recall correctly, the last couple dead bad guys belong to you. Please, you ain't even trying to compare body counts. Should I keep going all day?
We really enjoyed ourselves the whole time. We went down to Miami, really didn't know exactly how it was going to be, what we were going to do. The script was really loose, so we had a lot of ad-libbing, so it was more work writing-wise than we usually do on film. So we went into it, and we had a lot of fun doing it. And you guys will tell me in a minute, or y'all let everybody know tomorrow whether or not it worked. It was like everyone knew that Martin and I had to put our stamp on this film. And that's what we did. We went in and we made it Martin and Will's, because it was originally written for John Lovitz and Dana Carvey.
No.
So, yeah.
In 1996, Smith starred in Independence Day. The film was a massive blockbuster, becoming the second highest grossing film in history at the time, and established Smith as a prime box office draw.
Him being in Independence Day in 96, he was cast as the star. There weren't two people in it. It wasn't an ensemble cast. He was positioned as Will Smith saving the world against aliens. And when that opened at #1, suddenly I think it was like, ooh, Will Smith is a really bankable star. And from that point on, for several years afterwards, every 4th of July weekend, which is when Independence Day came out, they would be like, it's gonna be Big Willie weekend, because another Will Smith film had been scheduled to come out. So it made the movies a big event, and it made Will Smith himself a big event too. And it's like, everybody likes Will Smith. You want to see him succeed. So that was another thing people were buying into when they were going to the films on Big Willie weekend.
In the summer of 1997, he starred in the hit movie Men in Black, playing Agent J. The film was a huge success and grossed over $589 million worldwide against a $90 million budget. It became that year's 3rd highest grossing film and received worldwide acclaim, with critics praising its humor as well as Jones and Smith's performances.
Creatures and monsters and all of that stuff are fun to be a part of creating, and it's difficult working in a scene when nothing's there because they put all of that stuff in later. But like watching how kids go crazy over stuff like that is a real joy in, being a part of this industry.
He researched what did the top box office grossing actors have in common? What were those characteristics that made them have the kind of bankable careers? And so he used that as really his foundation when he started to move from music to acting.
My motto is, and has always been, if you stand next to someone who's an Oscar caliber actor, eventually people are going to say, hey, damn, Will